Well, that's not really the news that we want to see happening for the markets right now, but it's apparently the news that we are getting. The S&P 500 has just confirmed its kiss of death pattern. We're also seeing globally systemic banks on the brink of collapse, at least they're rumored to be. How is that going to affect Bitcoin, which is currently sitting just on a perfect little range? Will it hold? We'll be discussing all that and more in today's video. My name's Lark. I make videos on investing. If you like that topic, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a little thumbs up on this if you do appreciate this kind of content. Now let's get into it. Now let's start off by talking about the kiss of death pattern. So this is when the S&P 500 comes down. We put in our initial low. We have a rally back up to the 21-month exponential moving average, the blue line on the chart here. We get rejected there, and then we get a new monthly candle that closes below the previous low. So that's exactly what happened. You see, this is the low back here in June. This is the September low. Now look, this does not definitively mean that things are going to get really, really bad in the markets. We're going to lose another 20-30% in the stock markets, for example. But previously, when this has happened, that is what has happened, right? So this could be the moment before the markets crash even worse. And I'm telling you, if the stock markets crash that bad, it is no good news for the cryptocurrency markets. So we'll keep an eye on this. You know, it's just a pattern. Patterns don't always play out with 100% certainty, right? So this is something to keep in mind. However, we have seen this recently playing out in the past few decades when it has happened to do this, to be the indicator that yes, we are going to get more crash coming in. The prices will get worse. Now, what are some of the big things weighing heavy on the markets right now? Well, unfortunately, we're starting to see a lot of rumors circulating about Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank. So both of these major, systemically important banks are on the rocks right now. And it's bad because if the rumors prove to be true, right? And these are often things that we never really know are for certain until, you know, the crap actually hits the fan, so to speak. You know, the Credit Suisse CEO, he came out and said, it's all good. We have plenty of liquidity, strong capital base, all that stuff, which is exactly the same thing that Lehman Brothers said before they collapsed back in 2008. Literally, their chief financial officer came out a week before the collapse and said, oh, it's all good. We have strong liquidity. A week later, they're done. So those kind of statements don't do enough to reassure the markets. But Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank combined, $2.7 trillion in assets under management between them. Lehman Brothers was only about $600 billion. So this is about 4 times as big, 3 to 4 times as big. So it's absolutely massive in its potential. Now, obviously we don't want any of this to happen, but if this does happen, this could be the event that sparks the stock markets to go lower. So this is something we all need to keep an eye on, need to be thinking about, and you know, watching the news stories around this as we see it developing. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for you. And of course, with all this chaos in the markets, central banks are going to need to do the thing that central banks always do, that's print more money. EU energy crisis, we're already seeing the European Central Bank, major EU governments saying they're committing hundreds of billions of euros to fight the energy crisis. Same in the UK. UK pension funds, they were on the brink of collapse last week, apparently due to the dysfunction in the bond markets. The Bank of England had to step in $65 billion worth of money to bail out the pension funds. Chinese yuan tanking. And the central government has said to Chinese state banks, you better start dumping your dollars and buying up yuan to support this damn currency. Systemically important banks on the brink. You know, Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank. It's bigger than Lehman. And are they going to get bailed out? Can they be bailed out? Are they too big to bail? Right? Maybe they're too big to fail, but are they too big to bail? That is the question, because printing to save those banks would be massive. Letting those banks fail would also be massive. So let's hope those banks aren't going to fail. But right now, that is the rumor that is circulating. Now, before we talk about Bitcoin, just a reminder, if you don't have an account yet over on Bybit, you need to get yourself one. It is the best place to long and short Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of the top coins. 0% fees on their spot markets, 0% maker fees for futures trading. And if you use that link down below in the description, you'll be able to get up to $4,450 in exclusive deposit bonuses. So check it out if you are a trader. Now, let's talk about the meme chart here. This is the chart that shows usually we have red Septembers, right? So at this point, 8 out of 10, including this September, of the last Septembers have been red months. Now what's interesting is that played out, right? We did have a bad September in the market. September's usually bad months. This one was no exception. Now can we look forward and think, well, are we going to have a green October? So often we do see Octobers being green. Will this October be green, or is this going to be one of our red Octobers? So conversely, much like we've seen with the last 8 out of 10 Septembers being red, the last 7 out of 9 Octobers have been green. But there's also the possibility this could be our red October. The market's acceleration could get worse, right? Things could get worse very, very quickly in markets. So don't count on a meme that, Octobers are usually green to definitely come out to play. We'd love to see it. I would love a nice Uptober. We do have the US midterms coming up. Maybe they're going to find a way to pump the markets before then. But remember, our next Federal Reserve meeting is not until November 2nd. So if we are going to have any kind of change in stance towards monetary policy that is likely to be able to pump the US stock markets, we're going to need some kind of news here from the Federal Reserve. We're not going to get that until 2 days before the US midterms. Now, taking a look here at Bitcoin, this is our linear chart. We've been keeping an eye on this. Is on the weekly time frame. You can see right here, we are bouncing again on this trend line, right? So this is our trend line right here, and we are seeing basically the price at the moment failing to close above that, right? So we could be getting rejected again here once again. If we take that into the daily to have a little bit of a closer peek at it, you can see we're just kind of moving sideways towards this downtrend line, which again, it's a bit of a meme in itself, but it is interesting to keep an eye on. If we do start closing above that with any kind of strength, that could give us the fuel for the Uptober meme, right? But if we just kind of pathetically inch across it, that's not very exciting, of course, and we do have that potential to get rejected here. You can see, for example, on the 30th, we got rejected right around that line. So it's something interesting to keep an eye on if we can build any strength around this line. But with so much macro insanity going on, I am skeptical, let's say. And taking another look here at Bitcoin on the daily, it's pretty nuts actually. Since September 19th, we have just been ranging sideways, right? So between $18,500 and $19,500, all of our daily closes have been basically within that $1,000 range. So this is the kind of lack of volatility, this sideways ranging action that to me says we're going to get some volatility here in the near future. Now, which direction is that volatility likely to go? I think at the current moment, our bias is towards the downside because there's so much bad macro news going on. Imagine if Credit Suisse comes out on Monday and says, yep, we are done for. That would be bad. Markets would react negatively to such a story, and I'm not sure Bitcoin's going to hold up super well under that situation. Although it is noteworthy to see actually how decently Bitcoin has traded over the weekend in spite of this, right? In spite of the S&P 500 losing key support at 3630, we are continuing to see Bitcoin actually holding up with a decent amount of strength. Now, does that mean Bitcoin's just lagging behind at the moment? Or perhaps Bitcoin is just showing strength in the face of all of this craziness going on right now. Anyway, just my 2 Satoshis for the day. You let me know what you think about all this stuff down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.